Did you know that in Arkansas lies the only public diamond mine in the entire United States, where anyone can dig up a real gemstone straight from the earth, that beneath its mountains sleeps one of the largest and oldest cave systems in North America, carved by ancient seas? And that in its misty forests and winding rivers, people still whisper tales of the legendary Fook monster, the creature that inspired Southern folklore? Arkansas isn't just the natural state, it's a land of hidden treasures, living legends, and a wilderness so raw it feels unreal. Get ready, because today you'll discover 50 incredible facts about Arkansas that will change forever how you see the mysterious, untamed heart of America. 50. The diamond mine in your backyard. You might assume you need to book a flight to South Africa to hunt for diamonds, but the Crater of Diamonds State Park in Murfreesboro offers a sparkling alternative right here in North America. This specific geological anomaly is the eroded surface of an ancient volcanic pipe that brought diamonds to the surface millions of years ago. It remains the only place in the world where the public can search for real diamonds in their original volcanic source and keep what they find. 49. The highest point between the ranges. If you look at a relief map of the United States, you will notice a massive gap in elevation between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians. However, sitting proudly in the Arkansas River Valley is Mount Magazine, which rises to 2,753 feet above sea level. This flat-topped plateau, or mesa, is the highest point in the U.S. interior highlands. It is geologically distinct because its capstone rock protected it from the erosion that wore down the surrounding valleys over millions of years. 48. The anomaly of Crowley's Ridge. Driving through the flat Mississippi alluvial plain, you will suddenly encounter a narrow, rolling ridge rising 150 to 250 feet above the delta. This is Crowley's Ridge, a unique geological formation composed largely of loess, which is windblown dust accumulated during the ice ages. While the mighty Mississippi River eroded the land on both sides, this ridge somehow survived, creating a distinct highland ecosystem filled with hardwood forests that contrast sharply with the surrounding endless rows of flat agricultural crops. 47. The world's longest bayou. When you hear bayou, you probably think of Louisiana, but Arkansas actually holds the title for the longest bayou in the world. Bayou Bartholomew meanders approximately 364 miles from its source near Pine Bluff, all the way down into Louisiana. Unlike a fast-moving river, this bayou is a slow, winding ancient channel of the Arkansas River that shifted course roughly 2,000 years ago. It serves as a critical ecological corridor, hosting one of the most diverse fish populations in North America. 46. Mountains with the wrong orientation. Most mountain ranges in North America, like the Rockies or the Appalachians, run north to south due to tectonic plate collisions. The Ouachita Mountains in western Arkansas, however, are a geological rebel because they run east to west. This rare orientation creates unique microclimates, where the south-facing slopes are sunny and dry, favoring pine trees, while the north-facing slopes are cooler and moister, supporting hardwoods. It is a stunning visual example of how ancient continental collisions can leave lasting scars on the landscape. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to keep discovering the strange and incredible geography of our entire country. 45. The largest natural lake is an oxbow. While Arkansas has massive reservoirs like Lake Ouachita, its largest natural lake is actually Lake Chicot in the southeast corner of the state. This 20-mile-long body of water is a classic oxbow lake, formed centuries ago when the Mississippi River naturally changed its course and cut off a massive meander. It is considered the largest oxbow lake in North America, offering a fascinating glimpse into the dynamic and ever-changing nature of the Mississippi River's hydrology before modern levees restricted its movement. 44. The river that starts instantly. Usually, rivers start as tiny trickles high in the mountains, but the Spring River in North Arkansas is born fully formed. It originates at Mammoth Spring, a massive karst outlet that pours out 9 million gallons of water every single hour. Because this water comes from deep underground, it remains a constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. This unique thermal consistency allows the river to support distinct aquatic life and prevents it from freezing over, even during the coldest winter snaps. 43. The most mineralized 5 miles. Geologists from around the globe flock to a small basin near Malvern known as Magnetic Cove. This area, covering only about 5 square miles, is an ancient volcanic ringdike complex that is incredibly rich in rare minerals. It is famously cited as one of the most mineralogically diverse locations on the planet for its size, containing deposits of titanium, magnetite, and vanadium. In the past, the high iron content in the rocks was actually known to interfere with surveyors' magnetic compasses. 42. A waterfall that rivals the Rockies. Deep in the Buffalo National River wilderness lies Hemden Hollow Falls, a spectacle that requires a strenuous hike to reach. Dropping 209 feet over a sheer sandstone bluff, it holds the distinction of being the tallest waterfall between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians. The geology here is striking. The water has carved a massive amphitheater out of the rock, creating a hemmed-in feeling that amplifies the sound of the water crashing down into the emerald pool below during wet seasons. 41. The cave system that is still growing. Blanchard Springs Caverns in the Ozark National Forest is often described as a living cave system because the formations are still actively changing. Water from the surface constantly seeps through the limestone, depositing minerals that slowly grow the stalactites and stalagmites. Unlike many dormant dry caves, the humidity here is always 100%, and the specific dripstone trail showcases massive flowstones that are geologically younger and more pristine than those found in many other famous American commercial caverns. 40. The valley that splits the highlands. The Arkansas River Valley is not just a simple river basin, it is a distinct geological trough that physically separates the Ozark Plateaus to the north from the Ouachita Mountains to the south. This valley is up to 40 miles wide and contains unique geological structures called synclines and anticlines. These folded rock layers created isolated peaks like Mount Nebo and Petit John Mountain, which are essentially erosional remnants standing tall while the softer surrounding rock was washed away by the river. 39. Land sunken by earthquakes. In northeast Arkansas, there is a strange watery landscape known as the St. Francis Sunken Lands. This area was dramatically altered during the violent New Madrid earthquakes of 1811 and 1812, which were some of the most powerful in U.S. history. The intense shaking caused the ground to literally liquefy and subside by several feet, turning what was once dry forest land into a permanent swampy basin. It serves as a haunting, tangible reminder of the seismic power hiding beneath the Midwest. 38. The Impermeable Clay Bowl. The Grand Prairie region in eastern Arkansas is the rice capital of the United States, and that is entirely due to a fluke of soil geology. Beneath the topsoil lies a dense, impermeable layer of clay that prevents water from draining away. This creates a natural bowl effect, allowing farmers to flood their fields efficiently for rice cultivation without losing water to the subsoil. Without this specific geological layer, Arkansas likely never would have become the agricultural rice powerhouse it is today. 37. The nation's first national river. While many rivers across the United States are protected today, the Buffalo River holds a unique place in history as the very first to receive the special designation of National River by Congress in 1972. This landmark decision stopped plans by the Army Corps of Engineers to construct dams along its course, permanently preserving its 135 miles of free-flowing water. Carving its way through towering limestone bluffs in the Ozark Mountains, the river forms a high-gradient stream known for exceptionally clean water. Geologically, the Buffalo River offers a rare glimpse into ancient natural processes, acting as a living time capsule. Today, it remains one of the largest undammed rivers in the lower 48 states, prized for both its scientific value and untouched beauty. 36. A tailwater trout habitat. The White River in northern Arkansas offers a geography lesson in human impact. Before the construction of the Bull Shoals Dam, it was a warm water river native to bass and catfish. However, the dam releases water from the bottom of the reservoir, which is incredibly cold. This artificial change in water temperature completely altered the river's ecology, transforming it into a world-class cold water habitat that now supports massive populations of rainbow and brown trout where they naturally wouldn't exist. 35. 6 distinct natural divisions. Most states are lucky to have 2 or 3 types of terrain, but Arkansas is geographically divided into 6 distinct natural regions. You have the Ozark Mountains, plateaus, the Ouachita Mountains, folded ridges, the Arkansas River Valley, the West Gulf Coastal Plain, the Mississippi Alluvial Plain, and Crowley's Ridge. Each of these regions has completely different soil types, elevations, and vegetation. You can drive 3 hours across the state and feel like you have visited 3 completely different countries. 34. The oldest water you will ever drink. When you visit Hot Springs National Park, you aren't just bathing in warm water, you are soaking in history. Geologists have determined that the rainwater surfacing in these thermal springs today actually fell from the sky about 4,400 years ago. It takes that long for the water to slowly percolate deep into the earth, get superheated by the planet's internal temperature, and rush back up the fault line. You are effectively drinking a vintage rainstorm that happened while the ancient Egyptians were building pyramids. 33rd, the quartz crystal capital of the world. While Murfreesboro has diamonds, the Ouachita Mountains surrounding Mount Ida are world-renowned for something else: high-quality quartz crystals. This area possesses one of the largest deposits of quartz on the planet, rivaling sources in Brazil. The geology here is unique because the crystals formed in hydrothermal veins within the sandstone and shale cracks. It is not just a tourist gimmick. During World War II, the U.S. government actually harvested this Arkansas quartz for use in military radio oscillators due to its superior electrical properties. 32. The mountain that is an island. Just outside Little Rock stands Pinnacle Mountain, a cone-shaped peak that looks like a volcano, but definitely isn't one. Geologically, it is known as an Inselberg, or a monadnock. This means it is an isolated rock hill that stands alone because it is made of harder, more resistant sandstone than the softer shale that once surrounded it. Over millions of years, the Arkansas River Valley eroded the land around it, leaving this solitary, jagged pyramid standing defiant against the leveling forces of nature. 31. The river known as the Skull Crusher. The Cossatot River in southwest Arkansas has a reputation that matches its rugged geography. Its name comes from a Native American phrase often translated as skull crusher, referring to its violent rapids during high water. This river cuts across the geological grain of the Ouachita Mountains, creating narrow canyons and jagged rock gardens. It is considered the most difficult whitewater stream in the state, featuring class 4 and 5 rapids that are formed by tilted layers of sharp erosion-resistant sandstone ledges. 30. The town built on aluminum. During the 20th century, the seemingly quiet town of Bauxite, Arkansas, was the center of the aluminum universe. The soil here is rich in bauxite ore, a reddish clay-like rock that is the primary source of aluminum. This deposit formed roughly 50 million years ago when tropical rains leached silica from the local granite rocks, syenite. During World War II, this specific geographic patch provided over 90% of all the aluminum ore used to build American military aircraft, literally shaping history. 29. A meteorite that shook the state. In 1930, the geography of Paragould, Arkansas changed instantly when a massive meteorite slammed into the earth. Known as the Paragould meteorite, it is the third largest meteorite ever recovered in North America. The impact was so intense it created a fireball visible across 3 states and a sonic boom that terrified locals. The main fragment weighed 800 pounds and buried itself 9 feet deep into the clay soil. It serves as a rare reminder that Arkansas geology sometimes comes from outer space. 28. The cave with a waterfall inside. Deep within Lost Valley in the Buffalo National River region, you can hike to a cave that defies expectations. Known as Eden Falls Cave, it requires you to crawl through a tight 200-foot passage. Once you squeeze through, the cave opens up into a large cathedral-like room where a 35-foot waterfall crashes down in complete darkness. It is a stunning example of karst topography, where acidic water has dissolved the limestone to create hidden subterranean drainage systems that hikers can actually explore. 27. The Shifting Border Anomaly. The eastern border of Arkansas is technically the Mississippi River, but if you look at a map, you will see curious pockets of land called exclaves on the wrong side of the water. This is because the Mississippi River constantly changes its geographical path over time. When the river cuts a new channel, an avulsion, it can leave chunks of Arkansas land attached to the Tennessee or Mississippi banks. Even though they still legally belong to Arkansas, it is a jurisdictional nightmare caused purely by hydrology. 26. The tallest point in the Ozarks. We mentioned Mount Magazine earlier as the state's highest point, but that is in the River Valley. The true king of the Ozark Plateau itself is the Buffalo Lookout Tower near the community of Deer. Rising to 2,561 feet, this spot represents the geological apex of the eroded Boston Mountains. Unlike the flat-topped mesas of the valley, this is a rugged, dissected plateau. It offers some of the most dramatic relief in the Midwest, with steep V-shaped valleys dropping sharply from the high ridges. 25. A forest growing in water. The geography of the Dale Bumpers White River National Wildlife Refuge includes one of the largest remaining bottomland hardwood forests in the Mississippi River Valley. What makes this area geographically distinct is its hydrology. The forest is adapted to being submerged underwater for nearly 40% of the year. The terrain acts like a massive sponge, absorbing floodwaters from the White River. The trees here, like water, tupelo, and cypress, have evolved wide buttressed bases to stabilize themselves in the soft, shifting mud. 24. The City of 66 Springs. Eureka Springs is famous for its Victorian architecture, but the town's layout is entirely dictated by its hydrogeology. The city was built solely because of the presence of 66 natural cold water springs flowing from the limestone hillsides. Unlike traditional grid cities, the streets here wind unpredictably around the steep topography of the ravines, following the natural drainage patterns. The geography is so steep that there are places where the ground floor of one building looks directly into the third floor of its neighbor. 23. The unseen aquifer beneath. While we focus on the surface, the eastern third of Arkansas sits atop the Mississippi River Valley alluvial aquifer. This is essentially a massive underground ocean of groundwater held within layers of sand and gravel deposited by ancient glacial meltwater. It is one of the most productive aquifers in the entire world. This hidden geographical feature is the sole reason Arkansas can support such massive agriculture in the Delta, providing billions of gallons of irrigation water annually to rice and soybean crops. 22. The Petrified Forest of the South. You do not have to go to Arizona to see ancient wood turn to stone. In flora-rich areas like the Crater of Diamonds and other parts of southwest Arkansas, petrified wood is surprisingly common. During the Cretaceous period, roughly 100 million years ago, this area was a coastline dotted with islands. Trees fell into the swampy, mineral-rich water, where silica slowly replaced the organic wood cells before they could rot. Today, you can find rocks that still perfectly preserve the grain of ancient trees. 21st. The gorge that resists erosion. The Little Missouri River flows through a stunning geographical feature known as the Winding Stairs. Located in the Ouachita National Forest, this area features massive blocks of sandstone that have tumbled into the riverbed. The geology here is resistant to the river's flow, forcing the water to cascade over the rocks in a series of picturesque drops rather than cutting a smooth channel. It creates a rugged stair-step visual effect that highlights the sheer hardness of the Jack Fork Sandstone Formation found in these mountains. 20. The Arkansas Grand Canyon. While it is not as deep as the one in Arizona, the so-called Arkansas Grand Canyon on Scenic Byway 7 offers a breathtaking lesson in erosion. Located south of Jasper, this isn't a canyon carved by a single river, but rather a massive valley carved by the Buffalo River's tributaries into the Boston Mountains. The view looks down into the headwaters of the Buffalo River, showcasing the dramatic vertical relief where the soft limestone eroded away, leaving the harder sandstone ridges towering above the valley floor. 19. Oil from an ancient ocean. In the 1920s, the geography of South Arkansas around El Dorado changed forever with the discovery of oil. This oil didn't just appear, it is the result of organic matter settling in a warm, shallow saltwater sea that covered southern Arkansas during the Jurassic period, about 150 million years ago. These ancient marine deposits were buried and heated, transforming into the Smackover Formation. This geologic layer is still a major energy producer today, yielding not just oil, but also bromine, a critical industrial chemical. 18. The narrowest railroad tunnel. The Winslow Tunnel in northwest Arkansas represents a major feat of engineering against geography. Completed in 1882, it was blasted through the solid rock of the Boston Mountains, which formed a nearly impassable barrier for trains heading south. At over 1,700 feet long, it is the highest railroad tunnel between the Rockies and the Appalachians. The geography was so difficult to conquer that this tunnel was considered the final critical link that connected the Mid-South to the northern markets, changing the state's economy forever. 17. The river that teleports. We talked about Mammoth Spring earlier, but the source of that water is a geographical magic trick. 7 miles away, across the border in Missouri, lies Grand Gulf State Park, often called the Little Grand Canyon. A massive collapsed cave system swallows a stream there, which then travels underground through a mysterious labyrinth of karst channels. Dye tracing tests have proven that this water vanishes in Missouri and miraculously teleports underground to re-emerge hours later as the headwaters of the Spring River in Arkansas. 16. The sharpest rock on Earth. In the Ouachita Mountains, you will find a rare sedimentary rock called novaculite, which is the secret ingredient for the world's sharpest blades. This flint-like rock is incredibly dense and pure, making it the finest natural abrasive known to man. For over a century, Arkansas stones have been the gold standard for sharpening surgical scalpels and high-end knives. Geologically, it is the metamorphosed remains of silica-rich skeletons of tiny marine creatures that settled on an ancient ocean floor over 300 million years ago. 15. Man-made mountains of the past. Geography isn't always natural. Sometimes humans reshape the earth itself. At Plum Bayou Mounds, formerly Toltec Mounds, in the flat Arkansas Delta, an ancient civilization built massive earthen mounds over 1,000 years ago. These aren't just dirt piles, they are sophisticated astronomical tools. The mounds are geographically aligned so that when standing at a specific spot, the sun rises directly over certain embankments during the equinoxes and solstices. It is a stunning example of prehistoric landscape engineering designed to track the solar cycle. 14. Jellyfish in the mountains. You expect jellyfish in the ocean, not in a freshwater lake surrounded by pine trees. Yet Lake Ouachita, Arkansas's largest reservoir, is home to a rare species of freshwater jellyfish known as Craspedicusta sawerbai. These translucent creatures are about the size of a quarter and only appear sporadically during late summer when the water temperature is just right. Their presence is a testament to the incredible water clarity and purity of the lake, which is geologically protected by the surrounding national forest lands. 13. The state's lowest point. We have climbed the peaks, so now we must go to the bottom. The lowest geographical point in Arkansas is found where the Ouachita River crosses the border into Louisiana. At just 55 feet above sea level, this area is a distinct contrast to the soaring bluffs of the Ozarks. It is a humid, subtropical bottomland ecosystem. This low elevation means that the water here moves slowly, creating a lazy, winding river environment that is prone to massive seasonal backwater flooding from the south. 12. The Balancing Rock Anomaly. Near Eureka Springs, there is a geological oddity known as Pivot Rock. It looks like an inverted pyramid or a spinning top frozen in stone. The formation consists of a large, heavy capstone resting precariously on a tiny, narrow base. This is a classic example of differential weathering, where the softer rock layers at the bottom eroded faster than the harder rock on top. It looks like a strong wind could blow it over, yet it has stood there for thousands of years. 11. The Dangerous Coal Basin. The Arkansas River Valley is not just scenic, it sits atop a massive geological fuel tank. This region, particularly around Paris and Greenwood, is part of the Arkoma Basin, which contains rich seams of low volatile bituminous and semi-anthracite coal. In the early 20th century, this geology drove the local economy, but it also made the ground dangerous. There are hundreds of abandoned mine shafts beneath the surface here, a hidden subterranean geography that occasionally causes subsidence issues for the modern towns built above them. Remember to subscribe and like to keep learning amazing information about each state in our beautiful country. 10. The world's bromine capital. We mentioned oil in El Dorado, but the salty brine water that comes up with that oil is actually more valuable today. Southern Arkansas sits on top of the Smackover Formation, which contains the highest concentration of bromine in the world. This reddish-brown liquid element is crucial for flame retardants and drilling fluids. Because of this unique subsurface geology, Arkansas produces roughly 40% of the world's supply of bromine. It is a massive global industry hidden entirely deep beneath the piney woods. 9. The bridge carved by water. While Utah is famous for its arches, Arkansas has its own natural bridge near Clinton. This 100-foot sandstone arch wasn't built by masons. It was carved by the relentless force of ancient water eroding the softer rock beneath a hard sandstone shelf. It served as a literal bridge for pioneers and illegal moonshiners moving wagons through the rugged Ozark terrain. It is a perfect, small-scale example of the erosional forces that shaped the entire Ozark Plateau over millions of years. 8. The Bird Superhighway. If you look up in the winter, you will realize Arkansas is geographically positioned at the neck of an hourglass for birds. The state lies directly in the Mississippi Flyway, a migration route that follows the Mississippi River. Because of the vast rice fields and wetlands in the eastern Delta region, millions of mallards and snow geese funnel into this specific geographic zone every year. It creates the largest wintering population of mallards in North America, making the geography critical for continental avian survival. 7. The grape geology. In northwest Arkansas, the town of Tontitown is famous for its grapes, but that is only possible due to the specific local soil composition. The area features a silt loam soil on top of a Springfield Plateau limestone base, which provides excellent drainage. This prevents the grapevines from getting wet feet and rotting. Italian immigrants in the 1890s recognized that this specific microgeology was nearly identical to the vineyard regions of northern Italy, allowing them to establish a thriving viticulture industry that persists today. 6. The Healing Waters of Siloam. Siloam Springs gets its name from the biblical pool of healing, and for good reason. The geography here is dotted with mineral springs flowing from the chert-rich limestone of the Ozarks. In the late 1800s, this wasn't just a town, it was a health resort. The water was analyzed and found to be pure and free of organic matter, a rarity in that era. The city's entire park system is geographically designed around Sager Creek and these springs, which were once bottled and sold nationwide. 5. Older than Yellowstone. Most people think Yellowstone is the start of American conservation, but Hot Springs National Park technically beats it. The federal government designated this unique geothermal geography as the Hot Springs Reservation in 1832 to protect the thermal waters for public use. This was 40 years before Yellowstone became a national park. It effectively makes this specific valley in Arkansas the oldest federally protected piece of land in the national park system, preserving its rare geology before conservation was even a popular concept. 4. A rare volcanic pipe. We talked about diamonds in part 1, but the specific rock type is a geological unicorn. For years, geologists thought the diamonds in Murfreesboro were in a kimberlite pipe like those in Africa. However, updated research revealed it is actually a distinct rock called lamproite. This makes the Arkansas deposit even rarer geologically, as diamond-bearing lamproite pipes are incredibly uncommon globally. It changes the scientific understanding of how deep the magma originated and how fast it traveled to the surface to preserve the diamonds. 3. The seaport in the plains. You don't need an ocean to have a seaport. The McClellan-Kerr Arkansas River Navigation System is a feat of engineering that turned the Arkansas River into a series of stair-step pools. By building locks and dams, engineers raised the river's profile to allow massive barges to travel all the way from the Mississippi River up to Tulsa, Oklahoma. This system geographically transformed a wild, shallow river into a major international trade route, effectively giving landlocked Arkansas access to global ocean shipping lanes. 2. A state of 3 climates. Because of its diverse geography, Arkansas sits at a chaotic atmospheric crossroads. It is one of the rare places where 3 distinct climate zones converge: the humid subtropical south, the dry continental west, and the humid continental north. This means the weather can swing wildly. You can experience Gulf Coast humidity in the Delta while simultaneously seeing heavy snow in the Ozark Mountains just a few hours away. This geographical clash is what drives the state's frequent and intense thunderstorms and tornadoes. 1. The rock that named a capital. We end our journey with the most literal geographical fact of all. Little Rock isn't just a cute name. It refers to a specific geological formation. La Petite Roche is a jagged outcropping of Jack Fork sandstone that jutted out into the Arkansas River. It was the first solid rock explorers saw after traveling hundreds of miles up the flat, muddy Mississippi Delta. It served as a permanent geographical landmark for navigation, distinguishing it from the Big Rock upstream, and eventually gave the capital city its name. After learning these 50 facts about Arkansas, tell us, which one did you like the most, or which one surprised you? Leave it in the comments, and let's see how many of us picked the same fact. If you think we missed one or want to add something, we'd love to hear from you. Your comments help us make every video even better. And speaking of videos, here's another one on screen so you can keep exploring the geography of our beautiful country. Oh, and sorry if there were any mispronunciations. We're always trying to make each video better than the last. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like so we can keep learning together. See you in the video on screen.